Ladies, let's get real for a moment. We live in a world that tells us to be softer, quieter, more agreeable, to shrink ourselves to fit in. But I'm here to tell you that's not the way forward. You are stronger than you think, but somewhere along the way, society convinced you to dim your fire. That ends today. You want a success, confidence, respect? Then you need to stop being soft. It's time to harden your mindset, sharpen your skills, and step into your power. Let's break it down into 6 key principles. There is a moment in every woman's life when she must decide, will she continue waiting for permission to step into her power, or will she claim it herself? Too often we hesitate, looking around for a nod of approval, a reassuring word, a green light that tells us it's okay to move forward. But what if I told you that the only permission you need is your own? What if I told you that the moment you stop seeking validation, the world shifts in your favor? From the time we are little girls, we are conditioned to seek approval. We are told to be nice, to be agreeable, to follow the rules, to wait our turn. And so we grow up believing that if we work hard, if we do what's expected of us, someone will tap us on the shoulder and say, "Now you are ready. Now you are worthy." But the truth is, no one is coming. No one is going to hand you the life you want, the dream you crave, the success you deserve. That power has always been yours to claim. Look at the women who have changed history, who have shattered ceilings, who have dared to rise when the world told them to stay in their place. Do you think they waited for permission? Do you think they asked, is it okay if I lead, if I create, if I shine? No. They moved forward despite the doubt, despite the resistance, despite the voices, both external and internal, that told them they weren't enough. They didn't ask the world to believe in them first, they believed in themselves, and the world had no choice but to follow. Think about the moments in your life when you held yourself back, when you had an idea, a vision, a dream, and instead of saying, "This is worth pursuing," you asked, "Do you think this is a good idea?" Who were you asking? A friend? A partner? A colleague? A stranger on social media? And when they hesitated, when they questioned, when they didn't respond with the enthusiasm you hoped for, did you shrink? Did you second guess yourself? Did you let that doubt settle in your bones and tell you that maybe, just maybe, you weren't ready? It's time to break free from that cycle. It's time to understand that no one knows your potential better than you do. No one sees the fire burning inside you the way you do. And the truth is, waiting for validation is just another form of fear. It's fear wrapped up in the illusion of logic. I just want to make sure this is a good idea. No, what you really mean is, I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of stepping outside my comfort zone. But let me tell you something. There is no safety in playing small. There is no security in waiting. The only way to build a life you want is to start walking toward it, even if no one else understands, even if no one else claps, even if no one else believes in you. Yet, because here's the thing, confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. It's a muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel unstoppable. No, you decide, you take action, you make moves before you feel ready. And with every step, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are enough. Picture this. A woman stands at the edge of a stage, heart pounding, palms sweating. She's about to speak, about to share her vision, her story, her truth. And in that moment, she has a choice. She can let the fear win. She can let the doubt creep in, telling her she's not ready, that people won't listen, that she should wait until she's more prepared, more polished, more perfect. Or she can step forward. She can take a breath and speak, not because she has no fear, but because she refuses to let it stop her. And as she speaks, something magical happens. The fear fades, the doubt disappears. And in its place, power, certainty, strength. That woman is you. In every moment, in every decision, in every opportunity, you have that choice. Will you wait for permission, or will you step forward and take what's yours? And I know it's not easy. I know the voices of doubt are loud. I know the pressure to conform, to be liked, to be accepted can feel overwhelming. But let me ask you, what is the cost of waiting? What is the cost of dimming your own light? How many dreams have you put on hold because you were waiting for someone else to believe in them first? How many times have you played it safe when you were meant to soar? No more, not today. Today, you decide. Today, you choose yourself. Today, you stop asking for permission and start giving yourself the approval you've been waiting for. Because the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to play small. You were meant to stand out, to lead, to create, to inspire. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the belief that you are worthy of it. So, what will you do? Will you let this be another moment where you nod along, feeling inspired but ultimately unchanged? Or will you take action? Will you start saying yes to yourself even when no one else does? Will you start believing in your ideas, your voice, your power, even when it feels uncomfortable? This is your moment. This is your time. Stop waiting. Stop asking. Approve yourself first, and watch what happens when you do. Life doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, hurt, disappointed, or scared. It keeps moving, keeps throwing punches, and doesn't pause for a second to check if you're okay. And that's not cruel, it's just reality. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you take control. Because here's the truth. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to pick you up every time you fall. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Think about the last time you faced something tough. Really tough. Maybe it was rejection. Maybe someone told you that you weren't good enough. Maybe you put your heart and soul into something and it still failed. What did you do? Did you sit there dwelling on how unfair it was? Did you tell yourself you weren't cut out for it? Because that's the easy way out. And let's be honest, easy doesn't build greatness. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who avoid challenges. They're the ones who face them head on. The woman who hears criticism and uses it as fuel instead of letting it destroy her confidence, that's the one who will win. The man who gets rejected and instead of sulking, he sharpens his skills, refines his strategy, and comes back stronger. That's the one who will rise. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about grit. It's about the ability to take a hit and keep moving forward. You will face obstacles. That's a guarantee. You will have moments where you question yourself. But the question isn't whether you'll struggle. It's whether you'll let that struggle define you or refine you. When life knocks you down, you have two choices: stay down or get back up. That's it. And if you're waiting for someone to give you permission to rise, let me tell you right now, you don't need permission. You just need the courage to act. Pain is part of the process. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is feedback. If you never struggle, you never grow. If you never get rejected, you never improve. If you never fail, you never learn how to win. Think about the strongest people you know. Do you think they got there by avoiding pain? No. They got there by embracing it, by using it, by refusing to let it stop them. Stop taking things personally. The world isn't against you. It just doesn't owe you anything. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's liberating. Because the moment you accept that, you realize that everything you want is on you. Your success, your happiness, your growth. It's all in your hands. That's power. That's freedom. That means no one can take it away from you unless you let them. Your excuses don't matter. Your feelings, while valid, don't change the reality that if you want something, you have to go after it. No one cares how tired you are. No one cares how unfair things feel. You can either let that truth break you or let it drive you. When you stop looking for sympathy and start looking for solutions, everything changes. How many times have you held yourself back because of fear? Fear of failing, fear of looking stupid, fear of being judged. But here's the thing. No one who ever did anything great avoided fear. They felt it, they acknowledged it, and then they acted anyway. That's courage. That's resilience. That's how you win. Think about this. The next time you face rejection, what if instead of whining, you analyzed? Instead of saying, "Why me?" you asked, "What can I learn?" Instead of breaking down, you leveled up. That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. It's not about avoiding hardship. It's about using it. It's about toughening up. So, what's it going to be? Will you let life break you, or will you let it build you? The choice is yours. The harsh truth is this: no one is coming to save you. Not a man, not your parents, not your friends, not some magical stroke of luck. If you want something, if you dream of a different life, if you crave success, fulfillment, happiness, then you are the one who has to go out and claim it. Because waiting, that's a slow death sentence for ambition. Hoping, that's a passive game played by people too scared to bet on themselves. You have to own your life. That means everything. The victories, the failures, the missteps, the lessons, they all belong to you. If you're broke, you don't get to blame the economy. There's always a way to earn more. There's always an opportunity waiting for the one who refuses to quit looking. If you're out of shape, it's not your genetics. It's not your metabolism. It's your habits, your discipline, your choices. And if you're unhappy, stop waiting for someone to come along and fix it for you. Stop hoping someone will love you enough to make you love yourself. Stop wishing for the perfect opportunity to land in your lap. Happiness is not a gift. It's a creation. You build it, brick by brick, decision by decision, every single day. Look at the women who inspire you. The ones who shattered barriers, built empires, walked into rooms they weren't invited into, and refused to leave. They didn't sit around hoping. They didn't make excuses. They didn't ask for permission. They created. They hustled. They took control. And if you think for 1 second that they had it easier than you, you're lying to yourself. If anything, they had it harder. More doubters, more obstacles, more reasons to quit. But they didn't, and that's why they're where they are. So what's your excuse? Be honest with yourself. What's the story you keep telling that lets you stay small? I can't because of my past, because of my age, because of my circumstances, because I don't have enough money, because I don't have the right education, because I have kids, because I don't have kids, because I'm too young, because I'm too old. Sound familiar? The world is filled with people who let their excuses write their future. And you know what happens? Nothing. Their lives never change. They stay stuck in the same cycles, trapped by their own limiting beliefs, watching other people live the lives they dream about. But you're different. You're here because you know there's more. You feel it in your bones, that pull, that whisper in the back of your mind that says, I am meant for more. And you are. But it won't happen unless you decide right now that you're done playing small. Every excuse you make is a chain keeping you in the same place. Every time you blame something outside yourself, you give away your power. You don't control the economy. You don't control the past. You don't control what other people think. But you control you, your mindset, your choices, your work ethic, your resilience. And that's everything. So let's make a shift. Instead of saying, I can't because, ask yourself, how can I make this happen? That one small change is the difference between staying stuck and breaking through. It forces your brain to search for solutions instead of justifying your limitations. It moves you from victim to creator, from passive to active, from powerless to unstoppable. Want to start a business? How can you start today, even with no money? Want to get healthy? How can you make better choices right now, not next Monday, not next month, not when life settles down? Want to change careers, improve your relationships, build a life you actually love? How can you start taking steps today? Because the truth is, life is happening now. Not someday, not when the timing is perfect, not when you feel ready. Now. There will never be a perfect time. There will always be obstacles. But the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't, one group finds a way, the other group finds an excuse. So which one will you be? Too many women sabotage themselves because they let emotions dictate their actions. Yes, emotions are powerful, but when you let them drive the car, they crash it. And the most heartbreaking part? Many women don't even realize they're the ones pulling the wheel into the ditch. They think they're just reacting, just being real. But being real doesn't mean being reckless. Think back. Have you ever sent an angry text you regretted? Ever lashed out at someone because of frustration, only to feel guilty minutes later? Ever skipped an opportunity because you were too scared to take it? That's what happens when emotions take the lead. They feel urgent, they feel real, they feel like they're the truth. But they aren't. They're just feelings. And feelings don't dictate reality unless you let them. Success isn't about never feeling fear. It's about not letting fear dictate your decisions. Success isn't about never feeling anger. It's about not letting anger destroy the relationships and opportunities that could take you higher. The most successful women in the world don't have fewer emotions. They just know how to master them. And mastery doesn't mean suppression. It means understanding, channeling, and making emotions work for you instead of against you. Imagine a moment in your life when you were overwhelmed by emotion. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe you lost something you thought you couldn't live without. Maybe you were scared out of your mind. Now, what did you do in that moment? Did you react? Did you lash out? Did you let the storm inside you dictate your next move? Or did you pause, take a deep breath, and choose to respond with power? That's the difference between living life on your terms and living at the mercy of your emotions. One gives you control, the other keeps you stuck in a cycle of regret and reaction. And here's the truth. Every time you let emotions run the show, you reinforce the habit. Every time you give in to fear, you make fear stronger. Every time you explode in anger, you make that response more automatic. But the opposite is also true. Every time you choose to respond instead of react, you build resilience. You build discipline. You build the kind of emotional strength that turns ordinary women into unstoppable forces. Think about the strongest women you know. The ones who inspire you, who seem unshakable. They aren't unshakable because they don't feel. They're unshakable because they refuse to let their emotions make their choices. They feel the fear and step forward anyway. They feel the anger and channel it into something productive. They feel the sadness and let it fuel their growth rather than keep them stuck in self-pity. So how do you get there? How do you stop letting emotions control you? It starts with awareness. The next time you feel a wave of emotion, don't just react. Pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this feeling helping me or hurting me? That single moment of awareness can change everything. It gives you space, it gives you power, and it gives you the ability to choose logic over impulse, wisdom over reaction. But it's not enough to just recognize the emotion. You have to redirect it. If you're angry, channel that energy into action. If you're scared, reframe the fear as excitement and step forward anyway. If you're feeling doubt, remind yourself of every time you overcame something you once thought was impossible. Because here's the truth. You are not your emotions. You are the woman who decides what to do with them. And if you can master this, if you can build the habit of controlling your reactions instead of letting emotions control you, there is nothing that can stop you. Because once you take charge of your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to follow. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you earn. It's not gifted to the lucky or reserved for the fearless. It's built piece by piece through action. And the most powerful thing about confidence? It's available to every single person willing to step forward and claim it. We've all been there. That moment when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you don't have what it takes. Maybe it's standing in front of an audience, your hands shaking, your throat dry. Maybe it's launching that business, worried you'll fail. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, terrified you'll sound foolish. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't what comes before action, it's what follows. It's not the prerequisite, it's the result. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable. The leaders, the innovators, the visionaries. They weren't born with some magic ingredient that made them fearless. No, they built their confidence through action. They stood on the edge of doubt and took the leap anyway. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's not luck. It's their willingness to step into uncertainty and move forward despite the fear. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we have to feel ready before we take action. But waiting for confidence before you act is like waiting for a fire to start before you gather wood. It doesn't work that way. Confidence is forged in the doing. You weren't born knowing how to walk. You stumbled, fell, got back up. You weren't born knowing how to drive. You practiced, made mistakes, adjusted. Everything you've ever learned, you've learned by doing, not by waiting until you felt ready. So why do we hesitate when it comes to the things that matter most? Why do we let fear dictate what we try, what we risk, what we believe about ourselves. Fear is just the mind's way of keeping us safe. But here's the thing. Safety isn't what leads to greatness. Growth happens in discomfort. Strength is built in adversity, and confidence is earned through action. Think of the first time you did something that terrified you. Maybe it was stepping onto a stage. Maybe it was sending that first email to a potential client. Maybe it was saying yes to an opportunity that felt way too big for you. It was terrifying, right? But then something shifted. Maybe your voice shook, but you got through the speech. Maybe you stumbled through that first meeting, but you made it. And when you walked away, you realized something. You didn't die. The world didn't end. And in that moment, a seed of confidence was planted. The next time, it got easier and then easier until one day, what once terrified you became second nature. That's how confidence works. It's not an instant transformation. It's a muscle you build through repetition. You take action, you prove to yourself that you can handle it, and that belief in yourself starts to grow. And the more you push through fear, the less power it has over you. If you're waiting to feel ready, stop. Readiness is a myth. No one ever feels 100% ready for the things that truly matter. But the people who succeed, they move forward anyway. They act despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty. And in doing so, they become the kind of person who can handle anything. Every time you take action, you're rewriting the story you tell yourself. You're proving that you're capable. You're proving that you're stronger than you thought. You're proving that you can handle whatever life throws your way. And that kind of confidence, it's unshakable. So here's the challenge. This week, do one thing that scares you. Just one. Maybe it's speaking up when you'd normally stay silent. Maybe it's taking the first step toward a dream you've been putting off. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who intimidates you. Whatever it is, take the action before you feel ready. Prove to yourself that you can handle it, and watch what happens, because the moment you do, you'll realize the truth. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn. And once you do, there's nothing you can't accomplish. The people you surround yourself with shape your destiny. They influence your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your future. You may not realize it, but every conversation, every interaction, and every shared belief seeps into your subconscious, subtly molding the person you are becoming. If you look around and see people who are always complaining, making excuses, or settling for good enough, you will inevitably start to mirror those same behaviors. It's not intentional, it's human nature. We adapt to our environment. And if your environment is filled with mediocrity, that's exactly where you will stay. But here's the truth. Success requires boldness. It demands that you take a hard look at your life and ask yourself, are the people around me lifting me higher, or are they holding me back? Are they challenging me to dream bigger, work harder, and refuse to settle? Or are they reinforcing my doubts, validating my fears, and keeping me stuck in the same place? If you want to change your life, start by changing the people in it. Find those who are living at the level you aspire to reach. Surround yourself with individuals who refuse to accept limitations. Those who are constantly learning, growing, and pushing past obstacles. Because when you immerse yourself in an environment of winners, you start to absorb their mindset, you start to think differently, act differently, and believe in possibilities you once thought were out of reach. Think about the most successful, powerful, and unstoppable women you know. Do they spend their time complaining? Do they indulge in drama and gossip? Do they make excuses for why they can't achieve their goals? No. They are too busy taking action. They are too busy building, learning, and evolving. They understand that energy is everything, and they refuse to waste theirs on negativity. That's the level of discipline you need. You must be ruthless about who you allow into your inner circle. It's not about being unkind or arrogant. It's about protecting your mindset, your dreams, and your future. Because if you continue to entertain relationships that drain you, distract you, or pull you back into old patterns, you will never rise to your full potential. Some of you might feel a little uncomfortable right now. Maybe you're thinking, but these are my friends, my family, the people I've known forever. And yes, that's tough. But ask yourself this, is your loyalty to them greater than your commitment to your own success? Are you willing to shrink your dreams, suppress your ambitions, and settle for less just to avoid difficult conversations? You do not owe anyone your stagnation. The right people will celebrate your growth, not be threatened by it. The right people will push you higher, not pull you back. And if someone in your life feels uncomfortable with you becoming the best version of yourself, then that is their issue to deal with, not yours. If you've ever watched a group of lions in the wild, you'll notice something. The strong, dominant ones don't walk with the weak. They move with power, confidence, and purpose. And those who can't keep up, they fall behind. It's the law of nature, and the same applies to life. If you want to be powerful, you must walk with the powerful. If you want to be fearless, you must surround yourself with the fearless. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about your circle. Who in your life is pushing you forward? Who is challenging you to be greater? Who is feeding your ambition, encouraging your growth, and believing in your potential even when you doubt yourself? And then on the flip side, who is keeping you small? Who is constantly complaining, blaming, or making excuses? Who drains your energy, fills your mind with doubts, or dismisses your dreams as unrealistic? Be honest with yourself, because once you identify those people, you have a decision to make. Do you continue to allow them access to your time, energy, and mind? Or do you make the courageous choice to distance yourself and level up your environment? Growth requires sacrifice. It means letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. It means stepping out of your comfort zone and into rooms where you might feel like the least experienced, the least knowledgeable, or the least successful person there. But guess what? That's exactly where you need to be. Because in those rooms, you will be challenged, you will be stretched, you will be forced to rise to the occasion. And that's the secret. Success is not just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. And who you become is directly influenced by the company you keep. So, I challenge you today. Find a mentor who inspires you. Join a community of women who think bigger, dream bigger, and achieve bigger. Seek out those who are already living at the level you desire. And most importantly, cut out the negativity. Walk away from the gossip, the excuses, and the relationships that keep you in the same cycle. Because the moment you elevate your circle, you elevate your life. And when that happens, nothing, absolutely nothing can stop you. Being soft might feel comfortable, but it won't take you where you want to go. Strength is built through action, discipline, and a refusal to be anything less than your best. So, stop playing small, stop waiting for permission, stop making excuses. Toughen up, take control, and become the unstoppable woman you were meant to be. Now go out there and make it happen.